big guy.
Oh,
You wanted to see us?
don't move, I'll be right up. Sipping the soup, cleaning the paint. Boodle-doo, boodle-doo, and also trim the bonsai bush. Here we go. Hey, Luigi. What's up, Mario? Behold, I made a masterpiece for Princess Peach. What do you think?
Love the colors.
It's trash.
How dare you look at my masterpiece and say that?
I'll burn the skin off your bones.
Wow. Sorry about that. That's the old Bowser talking. Still working through my demons, I suppose. Anyway, I need my 8 hours or else I really turn into a monster.
I'm Bowser Jr., and I'm gonna be taking my father now!
Princess Rosalina, you're coming with me.
Once upon a time, there was a brave and noble princess named Peach.
I want to hear the story about the plumbers.
We did that one last night.
Plumber, 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 plumber.
Okay.
From the ashes of his father's defeat rises a new conqueror. The Bowser name shall be feared once more.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Nintendo released a full Super Mario Galaxy trailer. There's a whole bunch of Easter eggs here from the games, a couple people you probably recognize from real life playing big game characters, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. For some reason, Yoshi is weirdly absent. Maybe they're just saving him for the next trailer, but if you think you did spot him in this trailer in the background or some secret Easter egg, just let me know in the comments below. You can make the joke here that because Chris Pratt is from the Guardians of the Galaxy Marvel movies, and Brie Larson, who is voicing Rosalina, is also Captain Marvel in the Marvel movies, you could call it Guardians of the Super Mario Galaxy. But obviously the big reveals of this trailer are meant to be Rosalina and Bowser Jr. Like I said, Rosalina being voiced by Brie Larson, who herself has been a Nintendo ambassador for a long time, done countless Nintendo commercials in the past, even on her YouTube channel, I think. People have been fan casting her as Samus for a Metroid movie in live action for a long time. I think that she's actually talked about wanting to be Samus in a live action Metroid movie, but even though they're doing a live action Zelda movie, it seems more likely that if they do a Metroid movie in Nintendo for some reason, it'll wind up being animated in the same style as the Super Mario movies too. As far as I know, the Zelda movie is just a one-off, and Nintendo is going to try and stay in animation for most of its movies. There's only a little bit of her revealed during the actual trailer here, but there were a couple other separate previews of her they revealed during the Nintendo Direct. You don't really get too much of a sense of what her personality is going to be like during this. I'm assuming they're saving for the next big trailer, but I think it's easy to assume that next they'll introduce Daisy, maybe some teaser at the end of this movie or in a post-credit scene, or maybe they'll just save her completely for the next movie, but they're doing all the core princesses eventually. Recently, Nintendo also said that they're going to try and get movies out faster too, so like every 2 years at least a Nintendo movie, if not more frequently than that, with all the different franchise movies.
Phases 7 through 19.
The Switch has already kind of been a license to print money for them the last several years. Now they saw how much money they earned from doing the Super Mario movie, and they just felt like it's another license to print even more money. Money upon money upon money. One of the other funny details in real life, talk about having a ton of cash, is that Nintendo, for a very long time, has been one of the most cash-rich companies in the world just because they've been so fearful for economic downturns or bad times. At the end of the trailer, the boss she's fighting here is Megaleg from Super Mario Galaxy. There's a couple different Mario games that they bake into here, like a little bit of Odyssey, a little bit of Super Mario Wonder, a little bit of Super Mario Sunshine, so it's not just solely from Super Mario Galaxy. Megaleg is controlled by Bowser Jr., who's meant to be the actual main villain of the movie, not Bowser himself. Bowser Jr. is the villain of this movie. Megaleg is a giant mechanical construct with a vague resemblance to Electro Goomba. In the game, the first time you find him is in Bowser Jr.'s robot reactor, but here it just seems like he's coming for Rosalina. Rosalina is dubbed Watcher of the Stars in the games, as well as Lady of the Shooting Stars by Lubba. That'll also be relevant to what's happening in the trailer too, where you see Peach and Mario watching all the shooting stars, which are actually Lumas. Her whole duty is to watch over and protect the cosmos, while also serving as the adopted mother of the Lumas, which you actually see in some of these preview images, commanding the Comet Observatory, which is the place she's at where she fights Megaleg. Main villain Bowser Jr. is being played by Benny Safdie, who some of you probably recognize his voice a little bit. He's mostly known as a director. I mostly remember him as a director. He just did the Rock movie, The Smashing Machine, but he's also in a lot of movies as a regular actor. He was just in Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. He's going to be in his Odyssey movie next year, too. He even had a cameo scene during the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and he was even in Happy Gilmore, too. So he actually does do a lot of acting in addition to directing, but he's mostly known as a director. Just starting at the beginning of the trailer and going through shot by shot, there's a lot of Easter eggs they bake into the background here too of these different scenes. We actually start with Bowser, who's still being kept small by Mario, Luigi, and Peach in captivity, but we've seen that he's actually taken to a lot of painting during his time in captivity. There are a lot of jokes in the different paintings that you actually see. You see a couple of his paintings in the background. I think it's also meant to be a nod to a lot of the fan art in real life. Like he shows Mario and Luigi, the Giga Chad art of himself. That's based, I think, on a lot of really spicy fan art in real life.
It's trash.
Also, the idea is that the paintbrushes that he uses here, him painting, is meant to foreshadow Bowser Jr. with his paintbrush, which is also meant to be a big Easter egg for Super Mario Sunshine and the paintbrush he uses during that. In the games, the paintbrush is made by Professor E. Gadd, but I don't think that's going to be the case in the movie here. It just doesn't seem like they're doing that part of it. Maybe they'll save Professor Gadd for a Luigi's Mansion movie at some point, if they do wind up doing a Luigi's Mansion movie. Nintendo said that they're going all in on Nintendo movies, so my assumption is at some point they'll do pretty much everything. Probably the other funny thing here too is that Bowser is genuinely a good painter. He is genuinely a good artist. Also think it's kind of funny that Bowser is totally cool with Luigi, like they're total bros now, but he still hates Mario, all because Mario is still beloved by the princess, or at least he thinks that the princess loves him, which was his whole basis for hating Mario in the first movie. I'm gonna assume because of the vibe that Luigi is the one that got him the bonsai tree that he put in his tiny castle. You notice though that it's a normal-sized bonsai tree in a tiny castle. Then we actually get a look at a bunch more paintings that he's actually done in the past, and I think some of the paintings are actually based on some art from the original video games, the older video games. Still seems like he's totally obsessed with Princess Peach and she couldn't care less about him. Notice when he gets really pissed off at Mario who insults his painting that his voice goes back to its normal lower register when he's full size, but then when he apologizes, it goes back to his tiny voice. So maybe this is some twist to the movie. Jack Black himself actually participated in the Nintendo Direct when they were revealing the trailer, so he's kind of like the gift that keeps on giving. It feels like he was born to be in Nintendo movies like this. He was born to play a character like Bowser. I think the idea of Bowser saying that he's trying to work through his demons and reform himself is just to set up the idea that Bowser Jr. will be the actual main villain of the movie. There's that scene of Mario and Peach watching the star bits, the Lumas flying across the sky. The flashes from the star bits and the Lumas are actual stardust, so Rosalina calls them baby stars. Peach and Toad then traveling to another world through the launch star, flying across space. The planet made entirely of water is meant to be Drip Drop Galaxy. I don't know which other bosses we're going to be seeing during the movie, but I assume that there'll at least be some sub-boss from each of the different worlds that they travel to, the different galaxies. When it seems like the trailer goes full Dune, they're meant to be in the Sand Kingdom, so there's at least some Super Mario Odyssey that they're baking into the film. During the Odyssey game, it's the third world you visit. The major landmark here in the game is the Upside Down Pyramid. This is a big part of the actual level itself. Zoom and enhance, there's a sticker on Luigi's bike. You can see that's backwards. It says Tostarena. It's the name of the region that they're in right now, the skeletal beings from that place that dress in traditional Mexican-style clothing. Then there's a scene of Peach finding an army of ninjas with her umbrella in this neon-lit casino area. Might be a reference to Serena Beach Casino from Super Mario Sunshine. Then we get the big Bowser Jr. reveal when he shows up to Princess Peach's castle to save his father. As most of you probably spotted, he's sporting his appearance, though, from Super Mario Bros. Wonder, so there's a little bit from that game, too. One of the other weird things you might have clocked is that when Bowser Jr. first shows up, it seems like the movie borrows some music cues from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse with Prowler's music. Not totally sure what's going on here. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe they did actually sample some music from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Probably one of the weird things that Nintendo has done in the past, though, is that when people ask where his children actually come from, like who was Bowser's wife, who gave birth to these children, they don't really say that much about it. I think at one point, Nintendo even tried to say that they're not biologically Bowser's children, too, so people are like, where did they come from if they're not his biological children? My assumption is that the movie will actually simplify a whole lot of that. Then there's that tag scene of Bowser Jr. sending Megaleg after Rosalina at the observatory and her just taking it down, like one-shotting it pretty quickly. Also a really easy way to show you some of her star magic. Also seems like at the end of the trailer here with this Rosalina scene, there's a bit of a musical nod to Gusty Garden Galaxy. There was a bunch more footage they actually showed off during the Nintendo Direct itself, where you actually see Rosalina reading a storybook to a bunch of colorful Lumas. She begins to read a story about Peach, though the Lumas chant for one about the plumbers instead, Mario and Luigi. Both Mario Galaxy games, at least now thanks to the new Switch versions, include scenes of Rosalina reading from her storybook to chronicle events prior to the game's plot, so this scene is meant to be a reference to that. There was also a little more footage of Bowser Jr. in a more familiar outfit, but that's pretty much it. My assumption, like I said, is that they're saving Yoshi for like the next big trailer, and they'll do more of an actual story-based trailer to explain what the narrative of the movie is going to be and how they're adapting a couple different Mario games for this next movie. My assumption long term, though, if Nintendo is going all in on movies now, like this is they're doing way more movies than they were planning before, way more frequently, that they will just continue doing Mario line movies, like just in the Mario line of actual games, to the heat death of the universe. Just another license to print even more money. Now that it seems like Nintendo is going for a full cinematic universe, we'll see if they eventually try to do some sort of Smash Brothers universe crossover at some point with all their different franchises together. There's a lot going on during here, a lot of Easter eggs and references to many different Mario games, so if you spotted any that I didn't talk about in the trailer, just write them below in the comments, and I'll try to do more videos as they release more footage. There's a bunch of stuff coming up, and I just did a bunch of Easter egg videos for the Predator Badlands movie. Click here for both of those. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.